Purple podcast.
Deep block, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Oh my God! Stay alive! Oh my God! 30, 10, touchdown! Are you kidding me? It's the Minneapolis no way! Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked off on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I can't believe what I just saw. What an unbelievable play.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome into Bleeding Purple, a podcast about the Minnesota Vikings. My name is Tyler Haig, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Adam Patrick. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Doing good. Just happy about getting a win.
Yeah, no kidding. And not only not just a win,
Convincing.
but a very convincing win. For chuckles, I predicted 14-10. Well, of course, that was eclipsed before they, were halfway through the first quarter. You were a little bit closer. You had 23-10.
Yeah.
And they nearly doubled what you predicted.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. They can do that.
Yep, totally. I'm A-okay with it. I'm fine with it.
Offensive explosion.
Offensive explosion is a great way to put it. Can we give a lot of the credit to the, brand new offensive coordinator, Adam? What do you think? I feel like a lot of people are going to lean that way, are going to give him most of the credit. Is that something that they should be doing, or should we maybe be spreading this credit to all of the, players, coaches involved?
Oh, I think he deserves a bunch of the credit, but so does Dalvin Cook for playing out of his mind yesterday. So does Mike Zimmer for making the decision to go with Stefanski and, apparently helping him out throughout the week to get prepared. And I guess some other assistant coaches helped him out too. But, the Vikings, it just seemed more urgent on offense, like getting to the line real fast, making sure the defense couldn't set up or whatever, or show blitzes. And there was a lot more, I feel like, pre-snap adjustments where Cousins would, do the snap count and see who's coming on the blitz and then adjust. I don't think that has been done a lot, if very at all, this year under DeFilippo. It was like just line up in shotgun and then try and
had time to do it. They have been getting the last few weeks. They have been getting the play call and getting up to the line with like 5 seconds or less. So there hasn't been time for him to adjust. He basically has to run the motions that they have going and go for it. I completely agree with you. It was amazing. Did you also notice we never see it, but we got to see the snap count free play on offense?
Yeah.
When was the last time we saw the Aaron Rodgers special? I was just so encouraged by that. I couldn't even handle it. I was so pumped.
I was encouraged by Aldrick Robinson being on the field a lot more than Laquan Treadwell.
Mm-hmm. And did you
even when Treadwell was on the field? Well, you go.
I was going to say, did you listen to Zimmer's press conference today? Did you hear what he had to say at all?
A little bit. I didn't listen to the whole thing.
So there were times where he was kind of acknowledging that it wasn't necessarily that they were calling the runs, that it was the play call of a run. It was that they were running the same play 10 times with 10 different looks, but the same play, basically.
Oh, good.
He mentioned at one point different personnel packages and how that could be telling. He said, kind of stopped, stuttered. Maybe it's a conspiracy theory, Adam, I don't know. But then he mentioned, Treadwell or Robinson. What did we talk about the last several weeks? If Treadwell was on the field, it was going to be a run. If he was one of the two guys split, it was definitely going to be. That's the stuff that Zimmer wanted. I think that's the stuff that they were talking about. And Stefanski gave it to him like crazy. And, I don't know if you can credit Stefanski entirely with that offensive explosion, but that's exactly what Mike Zimmer wants, isn't it? A bunch of runs.
Yeah. Well, I think he wants an offense where the defense just really doesn't know exactly what you're going to run. Like, they might have an idea. Like, they might be like, okay, they're going to run the ball, but then there might be a little bit of a doubt in the back of their mind. Like, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll do play action because they've been running play action this game.
Yes,
So
let's talk
he
about
just wants
that.
there to be doubt.
Let's talk about that a little bit, the play action stuff, and specifically play action versus from under center as opposed to shotgun, which is where it seems like Kirk Cousins had been spending a ton of time in shotgun. Lots of time under center during this game. Also noticed a ton of like bootlegs, getting him outside of the pocket so he's not just sitting there seeing ghosts.
Really?
Yes, all these things. Also,
It's crazy how that works.
Screen passes. So basically, like, if you go back, Adam, and you listen to the stuff we talked about for the last couple of weeks, it's basically all those things happened during the game, and they were very successful. On
But we don't see what they all see.
No, it's different when we look at it.
We don't know their schemes and stuff.
We can't know. We can't know. It's impossible. Oh, that threw me off. I'm sorry. So everybody's productive. This is all the stuff we talked about. One of the things that we didn't really talk about or didn't really anticipate happening was kind of the, I don't want to say disappearance because he did have a catch, but where was Adam Thielen and what was going on there? Because he was such a big part of the offense, obviously, for that stretch of 8-9 games or whatever it was. Production, I don't think it's fair for us to expect 100 yards per game forever from him, but it's also fair for us to expect maybe more than one catch for, what did he finish with, like 16 yards or whatever it was?
No, I thought he had more than one catch. He had a couple catches.
Did he have a couple? Okay. Well,
but I mean, Kirk Cousins only threw 21 times, so that's got to contribute to it too, because when DeFilippo was there, he was throwing like 40, 50 times.
All the time, yes.
Game, so that's obviously going to give Thielen more targets and chances. But obviously, with his start to the year, teams are, doubling and tripling Thielen more than they were, and at the same time, I don't think Thielen really cares if he's, got a bunch of huge numbers as long as the team's winning. Like, I just feel like that's the kind of guy he is. Like, obviously he wants the ball because he wants to make plays, but he knows going into the game, what their plan is, and yesterday was obviously to run the ball a lot, and if that's the game plan, and it works, then, there's not really any reason to complain, but I don't see any reason to, like, freak out about Thielen disappearing or whatever. He's
or not being a part of the offense going forward because
if they want to get him the ball, they can get him the ball.
Yeah. And I think I think you nailed it, but it's also fair to expect defenses with that kind of production that we've seen from him to start keying on a guy like that and trying to take him away as an offensive.
Look what happened. They did that, and Stephon Diggs caught a touchdown, and Alden Robinson caught a touchdown. So if they can get those one-on-one situations, then I think they don't care if Thielen's doubled or tripled anytime.
100%. I agree with you 100%.
They haven't, but they haven't been able to capitalize on that on the
previous weeks. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess big picture, this was a pretty impressive performance. There's like 9 sacks, and like all these, like Dalvin Cook had an incredible game, et cetera, et cetera. All things considered, how excited are you? Like, are you excited? Is this, or should we be kind of pumping ourselves up? Because there's still a chance that they could miss the playoffs, but there's also a chance that they could, like, finish ahead of Seattle in the wild card spot.
It's going to be hard for them to miss the playoffs, because they would need to lose both their games. I think the Eagles or Redskins would have to win both their games. The Panthers would have to win all their games, and their schedules are not as easy as the Vikings. Vikings have to play the Lions and the Bears at home.
And the Bears, who basically at that point will most likely have not
much
to play
and the Eagles and Redskins play each other. And the Eagles play the Texans, the Redskins play the Titans, and the Panthers have to play the Saints twice, and the Falcons. So I think that it's going to be hard for even the Seahawks have a tougher schedule than the Vikings going forward. They have to play the Chiefs next week, so Chiefs are going to be trying to get that home field advantage, so they're going to be playing hard. But no, I think there's reason to be excited. Obviously, when a Mike Zimmer team scores 40 points, and then they have 9 sacks, I think there's reason to be excited about that. It's even if it's, it was against a good Dolphins team, no matter if it was home or away. The Dolphins beat the Patriots. They beat the Bears this year. So the Dolphins have beat good teams. They've won 7 games. It's not like they're playing the Cardinals and people are freaking out or like trying to settle people down because
dude, it's so funny to me that the big complaint last week was they can't beat teams with winning records, and then they beat a team with a winning record and they're like, well, it's the Dolphins. So it's like it doesn't even, it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but
and have both.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, which one do you want? No, I think there's reason to be excited. I think after next week, which they should probably beat the Lions, I think seeing how they play against them will really, tell a lot about this team going forward. Based on their performance against the Dolphins, there's reason to think that they could actually maybe do something in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If they play like that.
I mean, yeah. So. It's fair to assume that there obviously is going to be regression. That's kind of like they weren't going to score 60 however many points. They weren't going to score touchdowns on every drive. So you have to expect them to come back down to earth a little bit in the coming weeks here. But yeah, I mean, that was everything that we were looking for. It checked every single box that like concerned me. Like the offensive line played really well and everybody's like getting healthy. David Morgan was back and looked like he was important again. Dalvin Cook was incredible the entire game.
Latavius Murray.
Diggs got a bunch of like touches, and Murray looked great, and there were quarterback sneaks for first downs. There were like tempo changes. Like it was the whole thing. It was everything that we had like been frustrated by. So I'm like, I'm trying to pump the brakes here, but like I'm maybe super excited about this. That was like the most encouraging game. If they would have had that in week 3, I would have gone nuts over it, But like to have it this late after that coordinator change, like that's huge.
And you look at the teams in the NFC right now, they're in the playoff picture, that the way they're playing, like the Rams, they're not playing good. Yeah. The Cowboys just got shut out by the Colts. The Seahawks just lost to the 49ers. So I really feel like the Bears might be playing the best of any team in the NFC right now, and they're beatable too.
100% they're beatable.
So,
and now I'll say it again. Would it not be the most Vikings thing ever for them to lose their, have to boot their kicker that they drafted this year, fire an offensive coordinator, lose an offensive line coach before the season starts, and then figure it out with 4 games left and go on a deep playoff run? Before they break our hearts, obviously.
I was going to say, actually the most Vikings thing ever would for them to get knocked out of the playoffs and the Eagles take their spot in the playoffs.
Now that the Packers are eliminated officially. We should, not to celebrate other people's misfortunes, but we should maybe celebrate every time the Packers are eliminated from the playoffs going forward, yearly. I don't have anything.
Yeah, and I mean, they had a healthy Aaron Rodgers, and they still didn't make the playoffs. So. Yeah,
it's the first time that's happened since, I think it was 2008 was the stat that I saw. Was he even playing in 2008? When did he take over as starter? Do you remember what year that was?
2008, because that was when Favre was with the Jets.
Yes, you're totally right. 09 was the good year, and 10 was the roof collapsing.
The roof. The team collapsed.
Everything collapsed that year. That was epic, man.
Going back to the play action stuff we were talking about.
Yeah.
They ran a lot in shotgun, which was kind of hilarious because what team is going to think that Kirk Cousins is going to pull the ball away and run it himself?
Mm-hmm. Not many.
So it's either Dalvin Cook or Kirk Cousins drops back because Kirk Cousins is not that. He's not running the read option. Sorry.
No, he's not. If he is, he's going to be very easy to deal with.
He's athletic. I mean, not obviously more athletic than Adam Thielen, because everyone is.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's putting a lot of fear in teams doing play action in shotgun. So being under center, I don't understand why that was so hard to figure out.
No, and he seems so much more comfortable throwing the ball from under center, like that as a drop back, and then making reads and looking like he seems so much more comfortable than just catching the ball and standing there. Because that's when he gets the ghost stuff, where
even just the amount of passing the Vikings were doing under DeFilippo, there's stats out there where team throws for so many passes in a game, like 40 or something, their chance of winning goes way down. Like
yes.
even if you run 25 times a game, it's so much better than running 15 times a game, which I feel like happened a lot under DiFilippo, and I don't understand why he, like, being, paid to do this, couldn't figure that out. Or maybe he was getting that stuff from, like, Zimmer and everyone else, like, hey dude, like, this doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work for anybody in the NFL, but whatever, do what you want to do, and then
keep trying,
whatever.
Man.
Didn't work, see you later.
Yeah, man. It continues to perplex me that it was so difficult for them to get anything going, and in one afternoon, and granted, like, no, the Dolphins don't have the best defense in the history of the world, but, like, some of the teams that they had played previously didn't have amazing defenses either, and they couldn't really get anything going in those games. But it's just, like, I don't know. How can you not figure that out, and then new guy comes in and can run the ball that effectively and can have the offense looking that?
Well, they were running.
That was
they were
crazy,
running a lot,
man.
Yeah, a lot more different plays. I feel like they weren't like super complex, but there are a lot more zone runs where the line's moving one way and Cook's going another way. Where under DiFilippo, it just seemed like the runs were just Cook get the ball, run straight into the line. Like, that's just what it felt like every time, and it's not surprising he didn't really do that well with those plays.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Was there ever a point during DiFilippo's, like, tenure there where you were, like, shocked by, like, where there was, like, a player who was like, oh wow, I didn't really, like, I don't ever remember being like.
They didn't even run
like
any
rocket science, but it's like even the, like, trick plays were like, oh, this is stupid. Like, why would you? No, like, stop. Like even that in Stefanski was doing. I mean, even his, like, normal like just straight downfield running stuff was even more creative than the stuff that we had been seeing previously.
I mean, the Dolphins' run defense is pretty bad, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots' run defense was pretty bad, but the Vikings didn't do anything about that. So,
I think that to me is the most telling game. If you're searching for a reason for why DiFilippo got fired, it was because they were averaging 9 yards a carry and went down 7 or 14 or whatever it was, and completely abandoned the run for.
I think they were down 3. And going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah. It was a close game. It was not, and we discussed that after the game, was not a lost game when he started electing to throw the ball all the time. It was at 9 yards a pop, and we saw it again today. Like, this offense is capable of averaging close to 10 yards a carry if they're doing things the way they're capable of doing things. And I think especially going forward into the playoffs, that's super dangerous. Do you think they're kind of flirting with the team nobody wants to play this playoff season?
I mean, yeah, if they played like yesterday, obviously, of course.
Yeah, no kidding.
Looking at the Rams, just lost, and maybe not the Saints because they'll probably be playing at home. But
truthfully, that's the only team that I, at this point in the season,
even them, they haven't played
just
that.
Don't see it. I just
even
don't
them,
see them going there.
They haven't played that great.
True.
Vikings had plenty of opportunities in the game that they played them.
Mm-hmm.
They did pretty well shutting down their run game and stuff like that. So I want to wait and see until after. I mean, going against the Lions, people are gonna be like, "Oh, I won't tell you anything," but I think it will, because there's been times this year where the Vikings have played down to their opponents, and if they just go in there and take care of business like they should, and have another convincing victory, I think their roster's pretty healthy, where they can go into the playoffs and make some noise. And mess some people up.
I completely agree with that. And yeah, I think that can we learn anything from this game against Detroit? Well, of course we can, because this dude's only been doing it for one game. We're going to learn all kinds of stuff about the offense during this game. Win, lose, whether they look great, whether they look awful. We're going to learn a lot about what he's trying to do.
Enough about the offense. The defense had 9 sacks.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And I think Tannehill had 110 10 yards passing. So,
After I heard on the radio today that after that really long run, which was like a blitz on the wrong side and then basically a busted coverage.
Zimmer took the ball for that. So that was his fault.
No. Yeah. He did, but it was Lieber explained it on the radio.
Was it Anthony Harris?
It was Kendricks was going back because the blitz was coming from this side. Kendricks was going to fill the hot, so if there would have been a pass play and the guy would have done a hot read, he was going to fill that, but he needed to stay where he was because that was his running lane. And dude hit his lane, and he got caught on the other side, and there was nobody back there. That's what Lieber says. I believe it. But after that play, they gave up a total of some absurd number. It was 10 total yards of offense after the first play of the second half, which is insane.
I mean, they pretty much shut them down because they got 7 points from that pick six, which wasn't Kirk Cousins' fault.
Whose fault? Explain that to me, please, because if I'm a quarterback's coach, I'm you can't throw that ball, dude. What are you doing?
Well, I feel like that's a bang-bang play.
I don't disagree with that.
Where he's going to make that throw no matter what.
A great play by the wide receiver.
Kyle Rudolph,
the corner,
Kyle Rudolph was supposed to block or kind of screen the guy that made the interception.
Yeah.
And Rudolph just totally whiffed.
Yeah. No, he did.
So
what are you doing putting... Come on, Rudolph. He's not a blocker. That's not his thing.
Yes, he is. Dude,
no, you're right. You're totally right, though. It was a bang-bang play, but it's I don't know.
You're going to get those plays probably from Cousins once again.
Unfortunately, that is exactly right.
Luckily,
you're going to have one or two of those throws per game. The thing that we need to remember is that it's better than the Case Keenum oblique throws. It's better than the Bradford oblique throws. It's better than all of those. His floor is higher.
21 points. They were up 21-0. That's perfectly fine too. And the celebration afterwards was even better because they did the skull clap and they were down 14 points.
Yeah, that was funny. I didn't even think about the fact that they were down 14, but I loved the trolling skull clap. I liked it a lot more than the big group picture thing, which, by the way, again, totally over it. It's out. Horrible.
Every team
horrible celebration.
Not even
Knock
creative.
it off. No, it's awful. It's I don't know what it's like, but it's horrible.
I guess there wasn't any really interesting celebrations yesterday for the Vikings.
None that I saw.
Diggs did his little dance. Dalvin Cook gave I did like the piece from Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I like that.
The end zone. I made a T-shirt of that today. So.
I'm a big fan of the giving the ball to the offensive lineman and letting him spike it. I put that in the same group as giving the ball to a kid in the crowd. It's just thumbs up, good work, guy who scored that touchdown. Yeah, good job.
Charitable.
That's right. What was I going to say about? I can't remember now. Oh, the pick six. I feel like people have a worse taste in their mouth because things had been it was flawless up to that point, and you score there, it was going to be game over. I mean, it was basically game over anyways, but I feel like that's why people are reacting.
Well, the Dolphins definitely had some momentum going in the half, especially after the first play in the third quarter when he took that to a touchdown, and it was 21-17, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It was very close for a hot minute.
It was close, yeah, and it was
Okay, yeah, no, that's exactly what I want to ask. I'll tell you where I was at. You go first. What did you think when they were all of a sudden within? Was it 4 or 3? But it was a one possession game. What did you think then? What was your honest to God? What was your thought?
I wasn't too worried because it was the beginning of the second half. They pretty much outplayed the Dolphins the entire first half, and they did in the second half, so I wasn't too worried. I don't think either team really did a whole lot in the third quarter. But then I saw people when I asked are the Vikings, should people be afraid of them moving forward after their performance against the Dolphins? People are not if they play the way they did in the second and the third quarter. I'm like, yeah, but what about the first and the fourth quarter?
Yeah, because
those are part of the game too,
and they dominated for those parts. I hear what you're saying.
I agree. If they played the whole game like the second and third quarter, yes.
It will not go well for them.
They didn't even do that yesterday.
No, I was
I feel like people are trying to like pull strings or like search for things to discredit some of the things the Vikings did yesterday. Like even Cousins, they're like, oh, he only threw for like 200 yards. He threw a pick six.
Yeah, the pick six has been the first thing.
Keenum, we would have a first round bye with Keenum right now.
That take drives me absolutely.
That came out of the woodworks this week. That was back again.
I have such a difficult time with it. Yeah, man, it's kind of at this point, if you have decided that Kirk Cousins is really bad at being a quarterback, there's no he's not good enough to have a performance that will ever change those people's minds. You know,
he did cross the 20,000 yard career mark yesterday for passing yards.
Yeah, but stats don't matter, Adam, because they're changing the rules to benefit the quarterbacks.
Yeah. And he did cross that mark faster than Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson.
How come he doesn't have a Super Bowl, Adam? It's just so easy. It's such an easy argument to take. But at the end of the day, that's not what the Vikings were interested in. They were interested in raising the floor of their quarterback play. Mission accomplished. Sunday was a great example.
Is Case Keenum making that throw to Alec Robinson yesterday?
I don't think so.
And he might not even make that throw to Stephon Diggs wide open in the end zone.
I can't say. You can't say either.
I didn't even watch Saturday's game, the Broncos game, but I watched the highlights and I saw that Keenum did throw 2 interceptions.
Sure did. I feel like people like Case Keenum and feel like he kind of got a raw deal.
He's a good dude.
Too. Yeah, he is a good dude. And he did kind of get a raw deal because that's just the perfect storm for him to not get the job again.
He's fun to watch.
That guy was available.
But the Vikings also saw him in practice. So they saw him a lot more than 16 times during the year. So they were pretty aware of what he could and couldn't do. And to get them over the hump, they didn't think he was the guy to do it. And
I trust him.
I think they made the right choice.
I think they did. I
think that Mike Zimmer guy knows what he's doing. He just probably saved the season for the Vikings with his decision to get rid of DeFilippo.
He may have done that. Do you consider the season saved yet? Because they could still miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
do you think
if
they make the playoffs, then you would consider it a saved season?
Which they can do next week.
Can clinch next week?
Yeah, if they win.
What?
So the Panthers are playing tonight. If they lose tonight or next Sunday, and both the Redskins and the Eagles lose, and the Vikings, then it doesn't matter if the Vikings win or lose in Week 17. They're in.
What up? I love that. I'm super.
And there's a very good chance for all that because Panthers are playing the Saints tonight. Saints are trying to get home field advantage. I think they're playing Panthers are playing the Falcons next week, so that's not going to be. I mean, I don't know. It's the division game. It's never easy.
Yeah. Falcons are.
And then the Redskins are playing the Titans. Titans are also in the hunt for the playoffs. Redskins also have Josh Johnson starting for them at quarterback now.
Is that who it is now?
Yeah, they barely beat the Jaguars.
I saw they won though, which I was shocked by.
And then the Eagles are playing the Texans. Texans who are trying to get themselves a first round bye. So
all very possible.
And then the Vikings are playing the Lions, who are not very good.
Not very good.
So there's a very, very good chance the Vikings could clinch next week.
Who is your ideal, at this point, your ideal playoff matchup? Who would you like to see first? I mean, even obviously we don't know. There's so much yet to be decided, so I guess you can kind of pick from a bunch of different teams, and maybe that will benefit the Vikings. Your choice would. But, I mean, there are a lot of teams. I'm a Dallas guy. I would love for Dallas to win that division and for the Vikings to have to play them. I think that would be absolutely ideal.
I think that's what you're shooting for. It looks like they're either going to, if they get in the playoffs, they'll either play the Cowboys or the Bears. And, I mean, considering they're playing the Bears in Week 17, I think they'd probably want to play someone different who's not as familiar. Or maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they'd want to play someone that they've seen just, that way. But I think I feel like Mike Zimmer's team does well when they play against teams that maybe aren't used to seeing what they do, especially now with this switch.
Yeah.
The offensive coordinator they're not going to have a whole lot of tape on
what they're doing.
What Stefanski does, yeah. So, I mean, the
Good.
Cowboys were playing, it looked like they were playing well, but then they got shut out by the Colts yesterday. I mean, the Colts are good, but they might not even make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I feel the Cowboys, their defense has been playing better.
Their defense is really good.
But the Bears'
it's so
defense
hard for me to see Washington winning that. Even with Dallas being up and down, it's so hard to imagine them.
Well, and the Vikings going into Chicago is just never a good idea.
It's not good at all.
And I think if the Vikings are able to play the Cowboys, they'd probably be the 5 seed, which means that they would probably, in all likelihood, play the Rams in the second round, which is that's probably the team you want to play in the second round too.
That's what I was going to say. Of the higher ups in the second, of the Saints, Rams, who would you rather take out of that? I'm definitely going Rams. I just can't. It's hard for me. I don't see them going to New Orleans and winning under really any circumstances, no matter how well they've been playing. That's just such a brutal. Mm-hmm. That's a Vikings killer stadium. I don't like it. They're too good. Yep. I don't believe it. I think they can definitely go to LA and win, especially after these last couple of weeks with how the Rams have been kind of.
They can just bring like half their stadium with them too, because the Rams aren't going to fill that. I saw that the Chargers might get home field advantage in the playoffs this year, and
terribly unfortunate.
Would people go to those games finally if they had home field advantage? Probably not.
Probably not. And they'll probably do something stupid like try and prevent the opposing team from getting in, so it's going to be like a half full stadium. Like it's going to be a train wreck. Let's talk a little bit about we talked a little bit about playoff scenarios and stuff like that. Like, what do you think about the Lions coming up, and where do you, I don't want to say predict like what the Vikings are going to do, but like how do you, I guess, see the like playoff stuff shaking out? Like, who do you think is going to make it after all is said and done?
I think the way it looks right now is pretty much probably how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the Seahawks stick around? Do you think they? Yeah.
Even if they lose, this week against the Chiefs, I think they finished with the Cardinals in Week 17.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cardinals.
I think they're in good shape.
Not good.
Make the playoffs. I think they only need really like one win to get in.
Yeah.
So I think they're good. I think the Cowboys are probably fine. I think one of their last 2 games is against the Giants, so they're probably good too. And the Vikings and the Bears, the Rams and the Saints. So it's been that way for a couple weeks now.
A few weeks, yeah, a couple.
And the teams below them have just pretty much been shooting themselves in the foot to even like hang around. So I don't think anything's really gonna change unless someone gets hurt or something like that.
I would just like to take this opportunity to...
Unless Nick Foles, finds his magic again, which I really hope not. Cause he didn't even have any... He didn't throw for a touchdown last night, and yet everyone's, like, raving about...
Oh, my God.
How much better he is for the Eagles than Carson Wentz. I'm like, what?
I was absolutely shocked by the national media coverage of Nick Foles on the radio today. Like, I couldn't handle it. And he, like you said, he really didn't do much. Like, he wasn't horrible. He didn't lose it for him, but good God. It's an easy story. I get it. It's easy to kill 15 minutes talking about it, but I just am not even close to buying that. I would also like to bring up, because we're talking about this, I was not super wrong on Carolina because they are not probably going to make the playoffs. So that was my hot take.
One of the Lions' last only 2 wins in their last 8 games over the Panthers.
Speaking of the Lions, did you see Patricia was like swearing on the radio or something?
I heard that. I didn't hear it. I didn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I was hoping you could.
I'm not surprised. He was probably mad about like the host having bad posture or something like that.
Yeah, or being asked a question that is like completely valid, but like, well, this is maybe what Belichick would do. It's like, get out of here. The Lions.
He had a pen in his ear instead of a pencil.
Stafford always scares me because I think he's really good. I really like Matthew Stafford, and
He
maybe
was.
That's where I was going with that was, and maybe I am remembering how good he was when they were so bad, and now that they're not the worst, he is like regressed. He does not look as awesome as he used to look. Does Matthew Stafford strike fear into your heart, Adam, or is he like a totally like? No, I don't want to say a non-issue, but like, do you game plan around Matthew Stafford yet? If you're the defense,
I mean, you have to. He's really their only offense at this point.
At least they have.
But
no,
he got traded. Marvin Jones is also out for the year.
Oh, but they have that Galladay kid, don't they?
Okay, one guy.
I
think Xavier Rhodes will be able to handle him.
Between our 3 All-Pros on the defensive secondary, we should.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't think he's thrown for over 300 yards since Golden Tate got traded away.
Man, that's tough.
Just, I don't understand that.
He lost.
I mean, I do, and I don't. Yeah, I do, and I don't understand that trade. Like, I understand you want to try and get something for him because he's probably not going to re-sign in the offseason, but you pretty much like threw in the white flag at that point because I feel like since then, like I mentioned before, they're like 2-6 in the last 8 games, and that was pretty much around the same time when that move happened. And they were kind of still sort of competitive at that point. Like they beat the Patriots and some other people.
Man.
But yeah, now Ezekiel Ansah's out too, so the Vikings don't have to worry about him. They can't really run the ball, can't really pass the ball. They just lost to the Bills, and so the Vikings.
I gotta bring it up, dude.
I mean, their defense is probably really the only thing keeping them in games, and even that's not that great.
Yeah.
I mean, their pass defense is pretty good. The Vikings are probably gonna run the ball a lot again on Sunday because that's the weakest part of the Lions' defense. But some shenanigans are gonna have to go down for the Vikings to lose. I mean, it is a division game, obviously.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be closer than people think.
Definitely. I was going to say within 14 points for sure, for most certainly.
But the Vikings have won 2 of their last 3 under Zimmer in Detroit. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say about it? It's a game that the Vikings, I don't want to say have to win, but you have to win it. I don't like.
It's just like the least enthusiastic preview of a game we've done all year.
It might be because I just I can't really get a beat on how good or bad Detroit is, and I haven't been able to do that all year because the minute I think they're garbage, they beat New England. So it's part of me wonders.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but part of me wonders if they could pop up again and do that. I don't know. It feels like they're giving up.
They had a lot more weapons back then too.
That's also true. I don't know. It's the Vikings have to win, but is this the kind of game that if they win but it's not real convincing, we're going to be panicking as a group of fans because
I don't know. It depends if Cousins throws for 3 interceptions, and I think you should worry about that. But, it's a game they could lose. It's definitely a game they could lose.
Yeah.
I think they're favored by 6. So almost a touchdown.
Yeah, that would make sense in a divisional game. Let me ask you this. Let's say it's a week from today. We're in the future. You'll probably have a baby. That's a separate conversation. The Vikings have won.
Better.
But the Vikings have won, but we are not happy with the performance. What's basically what's the worst case scenario? But while they still win. Is it they win but Cousins turns the ball over a bunch? Is it they win but they don't run the ball very well? Is it they win but the offensive line looks like garbage? What would be the most concerning?
Yeah, it might be win in the passing game just doesn't look right. Looks a little off.
Mm-hmm.
Thielen and Diggs can't do anything. Maybe someone gets hurt. That'd be bad.
Oh, God, Adam. What are you doing?
It's football.
We don't mention it, though. That's a jinx waiting to happen.
I mean, at this point in the season, though, if you haven't gotten hurt, it feels like you're probably not gonna.
Truthfully,
even if you do, I feel like players will try and play through their injury more at this time of year than they would earlier in the year.
Definitely, yeah. Sprained ankle ain't going to be 2 weeks for most of these guys in this kind of a setting. Yeah, I guess that, honestly, I think maybe the best thing the Vikings have going for them right now is that this is maybe the healthiest they've been in quite some time. So, like, they actually are kind of lining up.
Even Anthony Barr looks good out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, they are...
Earn that contract for his new team next year.
Dude, it was a... I was so impressed with this game. I'm like kind of fired up about it. I think they could be... What if this is the year? What if this is it? What if this is the beginning of something special, Adam?
Careful. People are going to yell at you for overreacting.
I mean, they do that anyways. So
it's one game. You could have said that. You could have said that after the 49ers game. But
well, yeah,
not really, because I think yesterday was probably the best game they've played all year.
That's what I thought. I think
was on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
Even with the pick six, they ran efficiently. They passed efficiently. Dalvin Cook got the ball as much as he should. There's no reason for him to not get the ball a lot this year. I don't care if it's pitch count or whatever.
Anything. It's too late for that now. You got to give him the ball as much as possible. Because did you see what he was capable of doing, even in like normal, like bunch of dudes around him? Peace.
Yeah.
Catches the corner. When was the last time you watched a running back like turn the corner on D-backs consistently?
Yeah. Looks like a 1 yard loss and then he turns it into a 9 yard gain. Yeah.
Dude, he was crazy impressive. Defense was very impressive.
I feel like it wasn't until like the maybe fourth or fifth drive the Vikings had yesterday where they didn't gain at least a yard on their runs.
Yeah.
Every carry was like 5, 6 yards, 9 yards.
It was so wonderful. Huge chunks. Yeah. And that, I think, I'm so pumped. I'm so excited because it was everything I needed to see to be excited again. It was like, well, I mean, yeah, cool, they might win, but because if the offense doesn't, if they don't move the ball really well, check. Well, if they don't run the ball, check. Well, snap counts and screens they're going to have to check. Well, if the defense isn't going to get pressure, 9 sacks. WTF, Adam. I'm all in. I'm all in again. I had given up on them, basically.
Not there yet. I need some more. One game's not going to do it for me.
I know, but
actually, I probably need.
It's practical.
I probably need 2 more.
2 more good games.
Yeah. They beat the Bears in Week 17, like easily.
Then you're in.
Yeah.
I just have such a tough time. If they have to play the Bears twice in a row, there's no way they win that second game. No way. No way.
What was it 2012 where they played the Packers in the final game of the year? Mm-hmm. And then
that was
lost.
Yeah. Because Ponder's arm was hurt. And then that was that was a wonderful moment because that was everybody being like, Joe Webb, finally! And then everybody got to see what backup quarterbacks actually look like. Stop it.
He wasn't even like a backup quarterback. He couldn't even throw the ball.
Mm-mm.
How was he a backup quarterback?
It was not good. It was not good. And I was like, Christian Ponder. And then I saw the picture of what Christian Ponder's arm looked like. And I was like, probably good to sit that bruise out for a playoff
game. Brett Favre would have played with that.
He's got Christian Ponder has to look out for his long-term future.
He's enjoying life now. He's not doing anything.
Sure is. And he's a millionaire.
Being a stay-at-home dad.
And his wife blocks everybody on Twitter. So it's a dream, really.
Yeah, she does. She works with Randy Moss every day, so...
Super fun. Do you want to do predictions for the Lions game?
Sure.
What do you think, Adam? What is your prediction?
Let's go 38.
Whoa.
To 13.
Jesus.
So much for saying it.
I was going to say, care to explain? Because that doesn't sound anything like what you had just been saying all these moments.
Another offensive explosion.
All right. I'm going to go 41-28. Hard for me to see the defense
41.
playing that well. Yeah, 41, dude. I'm all in. Stefanski for Prez, bro.
Should I make that? Oh, man. Make that a shirt if he does it again next week.
Stefanski for Prez, bro. Or just Stefanski
Not,
for Prez?
not the bro. Or like Stefanski 2020.
I don't know, maybe you'll have Stefanski 2020 and I'll have one that says bro. I mean,
Good luck.
thanks. You don't believe in any of my designs, Adam. I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Yeah, I thought of one a couple weeks ago that was like Monday Night Moss and like the Monday Night Raw kind of layout.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't know if that would be a good one.
Moss's War.
Yeah. I did make one with Zimmer with a Santa hat on. You haven't seen
Ooh.
that.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. He's yelling and screaming. He's got a Santa hat on.
I like it. I'm into that. I would purchase that.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about clothes, I feel like we should mention pickandshovelwear.com.
Yeah. I mean, it's in the beginning of the...
Yeah, but it's in the beginning. But I feel like we should just mention it again just because we're bringing it up.
Yeah, they've
clothes.
got some stuff. I'm sure they have some holiday sales going on now. Get your gifts. Hurry up, because it's getting close.
Yeah.
Also saying this to my son who's not here yet. Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Getting close to Christmas.
We're
Probably
ready
don't want
now.
your birthday to be on Christmas.
You know, I was going to mention that. You better, tell this young man that it's time to get cracking or he's going to have to
Messing it up.
Yeah, man, because the birthday on Christmas, you just can't. You got to avoid that. 2-3 days
Even
before.
even Christmas Eve.
Prime. Yeah, Christmas Eve can't have it. 2-3 days before. That's the bar.
His birthday is getting less and less fun by the day.
Every
too
day that
close.
passes, kid. So those are some kind of outrageous predictions on the Lions game. So it'll be interesting to see.
Are they though?
I mean, 38 and 41 points. Realistically speaking, what do you expect from the offense? Do you expect another offensive explosion? Is that truly what you... That's what I want. 41-28 is my want pick.
Yeah, I expect them to run a similar game plan to what they ran on Sunday, emphasizing the run, just because the Lions' pass defense is a little better than their run defense. And then I probably expect maybe a return or like a pick six from the Vikings defense on Sunday. They're due, I feel like.
Definitely. I'm glad you brought it up because I would talk
almost
offense all day. Cheryl's. Let's talk a little bit about Cheryl's for a hot second here.
gift that keeps on giving.
What else can you say about the guy? And I found out today, too, via the radio, that they told him, hey, man, you should be more aggressive and see if you can't, get some more yards. And then he does that. It's God, Marcus Sherrills, what do you even say to that? Is this his last year? Can it possibly be his last year? Can we keep him forever?
Last year is going to be 30 years.
That's what I'm saying. I look forward to my children's children watching Marcus Sherrills.
Well, I
punts.
think he might have broken the team record for return yards yesterday too.
That would make sense.
He's been floating around somewhere.
Been doing it forever.
Yeah.
He just, what can you say? He never fumbles. He always gains yards.
So close.
Sometimes he throws. Right. Yeah, it's man.
Shoestring tackle yesterday. So close.
We haven't touched. This is good. Good segue. Marcus Sherrills, special teams talk. How are you feeling about the special teams?
All field goals. Made them all yesterday.
When it rains, it pours. It feels good, man.
I'm still not against a coaching change during the season.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure if the Vikings should bring back Dan Bailey or not, or if he wants to come back or whatever.
Do you know who they should bring back? Quigley. Come on back, bub.
Yeah. I don't know. Weil hasn't done that bad.
No, he's not been bad at all.
But yeah, I think they're gonna have to figure out. Surprise! Vikings in the offseason are gonna have to figure out their kicking situation in their offensive line.
It's good because I know exactly where to search for offensive line prospects.
They're going to select a defensive tackle in the first round.
Mm-hmm. Or corner, most likely defensive tackle.
That'd be another corner.
Yeah, dude, you can never have enough. Mike Zimmer says that. Says it all the time.
People would freak out. They'd be like, "Fire Zimmer!"
If they don't select an offensive lineman with their first round pick, Vikings Twitter burns down, unequivocally.
Within the first 2 rounds.
No way.
If they hit,
no way.
I don't know. I haven't looked at the prospects or whatever, how many good guards or tackles or whatever are out there this year. So if you don't want them to overdraft.
I mean, of course you don't, but I don't feel
if
like
they let
people
Barr
care
go, they
anymore.
might have to, look into maybe getting a linebacker in there or a
I don't
safety.
know. We haven't talked about it a lot, but that O'Neal character, he was pretty good for a second-round pick, and people have just kind of let that fly under the radar. I mean, the offensive line has kind of been a disaster all over.
I think he still hasn't given up a sack. I mean, he's given up a bunch of pressures, but still no sacks.
But I think, man, I'd be fine with second round, third round. I'm okay with either. Whatever. You just need to get some bodies in there. I think they need to get somebody from free agency who can step in and be, effective right away. But
bringing Easton back might be a good idea because you'll probably get him for cheap.
Yes.
And then draft
can he
the
stay
right
healthy?
guard.
I don't know.
What do you have, a neck issue? That's kind of
I feel like it was a neck or a back thing. It was one of the scary ones.
Probably not good for an offensive lineman. But I feel, did John Sullivan, didn't he have like a similar?
I feel like he did, and he was playing again.
He's still playing. He's playing for the Rams now. So.
It looks good, yeah. Or as good as I don't know.
So yeah, they Elfline, O'Neal, probably keep Riley Reef there for another year at least.
There are a lot of
bring
people
back
that,
Easton, draft a guard, or sign a veteran
Mm-hmm.
guard that's way better than Remmers, which would be probably a blind person at this point.
Wow. Hey man,
I don't think I'm making that big of a statement.
You got a blind person would be better than Remmers right now?
Yeah, I mean, he was good. He was not good, but decent at right tackle. But for some reason, the Vikings wanted him to play a position he's never played in the NFL before.
Yeah,
and it shows. So I don't know how much of that is his fault or the Vikings, because I would blame the Vikings too. But
yeah, it's probably I think there's a move on a necessity.
You don't want the Vikings.
It's not working.
They do need to. I'm not really that big a favor of drafting offensive linemen in the first round.
Yeah, that's a separate podcast entirely.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be like, oh my god. If they drafted a corner, I'd probably be pretty pissed off.
Would you really?
In the first round, yeah. They might even go wide receiver in the first round.
That wouldn't shock me at all. We've seen that work well recently, so why not go back to the well? You know what? Why not take a kicker in the first round? Bleep it.
Are there any good SEC kickers out there with huge legs?
I was just gonna. Who's kicking in Georgia right now? Because we might need to bring you on in and cut you, but we'll make sure and screw up our entire special teams battery operation before we do any of that. It'll be very good, very exciting stuff. Yeah, man, I want them to draft offensive linemen in the first round. I really do. I think they should, but I don't want it to be Khalil.
I mean, fair? if they kept Keenum, then they would have been able to sign like 5 All-Pro. All those All-Pro offensive linemen that are always available in free agency every year.
Yes, every year. And not only are they available, they are, like
cheap.
$3 million per year, and it's no problem. You could have
it would have so much. Yeah, it would have so much money to spend on offensive line, and they have no problem blocking. It doesn't matter about play calls or anything. None of that matters.
And there's not going to be anybody else who's interested in bidding.
They could have traded for Adam Vinatieri. So if they should have just kept Keenum.
That one though, if they really wanted Vinatieri, they could get a trade.
I don't know.
The other ones I was being sarcastic, but this one now.
Did you see Janikowski yesterday? Just whiff, or not even whiff.
No,
just ran by the guy.
No, whiff implies that he was trying to tackle somebody.
Yeah, he was just
was not interested in tackling anybody. He is. I hate to say it, but he's my favorite NFL player.
Yeah, he is 40 years old? So
oh my God, he's wonderful.
I'm not tackling.
Not even in close. Are you kidding me?
Not that he couldn't.
Shoulder.
He could probably destroy somebody.
That's the best part about it. He's got probably 50 pounds on whoever's running the ball at him, and he's just and turned his shoulder to be like, no thanks. And correct me if I'm wrong, but was that not in overtime, or was that late in the game?
I don't know. I just saw the GIF or whatever.
I felt like it was a very important time in the game, and he was like, "That's not."
And then I tweeted the Packers playoffs hopes be like ...
I'm good.
Yep,
I'm good. So yes, in conclusion, let us celebrate. For the Pack will not be joining us in the postseason tournament. which is, important. It's important to give thanks to the football gods when they reward us with
I
things
think
like
the
this.
Vikings should trade Kirk Cousins for Aaron Rodgers. So.
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
I'm pretty sure some Packer fans want Aaron Rodgers out of there, so if they want him out,
I'll take him. If that's a trade that they're willing to make, I mean, there's probably a lot of ownership that we could convince that that's a good move. So maybe that's something to throw out there.
Buy him a couple beers.
Yeah. Some cheese. No, they have that. Yeah, buy him some beer.
Cheese
I think
curds.
It'll be good then. Cheese curds. Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, man. I mean, we know the Vikings higher-ups listen, so closed circuit to the Vikings higher-ups. You should maybe explore...
Cousins and Treadwell for Aaron Rodgers.
For Aaron Rodgers, yep. We should explore that deal.
I think that's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's worth exploring. I would say that anyway. So yeah, I'm with you. 100% in on the whole thing.
Who says no?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not the ownership group.
Not the Packers.
All right, bud. Wonderful episode. Good luck with your.
Hopefully he'll be here.
Now tardy firstborn son.
Just like you guys.
Skull Vikes, I hope you got a new person on the way very, very soon.
Thank you.